The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. It's the post-game report card here at Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace, following Arkansas's 86-81 overtime win and a huge bubble matchup against Texas. It's a little after 1 o'clock in the morning right now as I record this, but I'm still buzzing from that game. I mean, what an electric atmosphere, just a big time matchup between two teams that were desperate for a win, fighting for their postseason lives. And Arkansas got the best of Texas, completes the season sweep, a huge victory, but it was so much more than that. I mean, Arkansas had to overcome the loss of Thiero, their leading scorer. They had to overcome just an absolute onslaught from a scoring standpoint from a future lottery pick in Trey Johnson. And, it's, a team that was tired on dead legs with a 7-man rotation. They coughed up a 14-point lead. The game goes to overtime. You felt like they lost momentum, but they just kept grinding and making plays to get over the top in the end. Really impressed with Arkansas, the players, the coaching staff, John Calipari. Congratulations to them on a job really well done. So let's hop into the report card. Breaking news, spoiler alert. They're going to be graded really high for this. And it doesn't mean that everybody was perfect and that everything went swimmingly, but after a game like that, you just got to give a ton of credit to these guys for what they were able to do under these circumstances. We'll start with offense and defense as always, and we'll work our way through the players in the end there. It'll be a little bit shorter than usual because, well, then we had 7 guys out there, right? So offensively for Arkansas, I've got to go A for the Razorbacks in this game. I mean, you lose your leading scorer, Thiero, who is just such an integral part to everything that you do. He fuels the transition break. He's a mismatch nightmare. He's a guy who can create in isolation situations. There's a reason why he was leading this team in scoring, and you kind of had to reinvent yourself. Arkansas did in short order. Just had a couple days to prep for this. Inserting Trevin Brazil, I thought was really interesting to see that dynamic that kind of changes for Arkansas. Well, now all of a sudden you've got TB and Big Z in your front court and what that does for the spacing on the floor and the 3-point shooting. And it forces the opposing team's big men to get out from underneath that rim because you have to respect those guys from the 3. And then it opens up driving lanes for your guards. So it was pretty fascinating to see some of the different stuff that Arkansas was running. It was interesting to see that they were throwing it into the post more to Z and Jonas and getting some buckets out of that. They were looking for the roll men more on the pick and roll and ball screen action. So they did make some tweaks and adjustments, and I was impressed by that. I thought they attacked the zone pretty well and handled that when Texas went to it. Threw them off a little bit there at times, and there were some cold stretches in there. But, man, that's kind of to be expected when you kind of have to find a new identity, right, in short order, the way that Arkansas did. And they had 86 points. I realized they played in overtime, but, just under 47% from the field, selective but effective from 3, 9 of 17, over 50%. And then you had to get to the free throw line. And we talked about it in the preview. Thiero has shot, over 100 free throws, more than anybody else on the roster. And so for Arkansas to get to the line 31 times and connect on 74% of them, really good stuff. 12 turnovers in an overtime game, not bad at all. 17 assists, that's a solid number. But Arkansas did a lot of really good things there. And then down the stretch, they avoided those catastrophic mistakes in terms of turnovers. They executed, got some big buckets. They were able to get the ball inbounds against the press, secure it, get to the free throw line. They didn't make all of them. DJ missed a couple, but man, they had some clutch makes there, didn't they? In overtime. So great job by Arkansas on the offensive end. Defensively, I thought they were really good. I'm going to give them a B+ defensively. And I feel like they did a lot of things. Quality, kept them off the offensive glass for the most part, defended tremendously. I thought in the half court, limited the damage from 3 for the most part, but you gave up 39 to Trey Johnson. He was 14 of 28 from the floor. He was 7 of 11 from 3. They just couldn't find an answer for him. And Texas kept going back to the well with the same play over and over and over. The Trey Johnson curls off those handoffs. And he just made you pay. And it was a tough position for Arkansas to be in because on one hand, you're trying to be physical with him, run through screens, blow up those curls. like you kind of want to be the aggressor on the freshman like that and make life more difficult for him, but you couldn't afford to get into foul trouble. So it was a weird balancing act that Arkansas had to play there. We said, hey, like Trey Johnson's probably going to get his. You got to make sure that there's not a Robin to his Batman. You can't let T-Mark go crazy. Well, he didn't. He only had 1 bucket, 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting. You can't let Kaluma go crazy. And he had 13, but he was 4 of 14 from the field and missed all 4 of his threes. Arkansas did a good job of limiting those other guys. But when we said Trey Johnson could get his, we didn't mean a 40 ball, in Bud Walton Arena. So, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the other guy, right? And in ways, I think you got to do that to Trey, because he made some ridiculously crazy off-balance contested shots. He was just deep in his bag, and Arkansas was fortunate to overcome that. He just about put the Longhorns on his back and walked out of Bud Walton Arena with a win, but he didn't, right? He didn't. So Arkansas gets out of there. Buddy, they needed it, and good on them. Before we go to the players, obviously, want to remind you that our post-game report card is always presented by our friends over at Bryant Technologies. They're dedicated to delivering high-quality network infrastructure and security camera solutions. They take pride in their exceptional workmanship and commitment to keeping your business operations seamlessly connected and secure. Whether it's structured cabling, security camera installation, digital signage, or TV mounting, Bryant Technologies has you covered. They service the entire state of Arkansas as well as all of Arkansas's bordering states. Have Bryant Technologies help you with all your network and security needs. You can give them a call, 870-883-0330, or check out their website at www.bryantstechnologies.com. Make sure you get that S in between. That's bryantstechnologies.com. They do good work. Make sure that you check them out. Okay. So, player grades here, everybody's going to get some form of an A from me for this game. I mean, it is not easy to only have 7 guys in your rotation and grind out a game in late February in the SEC the way the Razorbacks had to do in this one, especially, going to overtime and having to get over the hump. Everybody made critical contributions to the cause. That's what you have to have right now. Everybody's got to do something. They got to bring something to the table. They've got to be some form of an asset, and you got that. John L. Davis, 14 points in this game, only 3 of 9 from the field. Now, he got off to a good start, right? You guys remember that transition 3 that he stuck, like the NBA transition 3 early in the game that felt like a big tone setter. Didn't finish as well around the basket. He was dealing with foul trouble in this game. He was the guy who had 4 fouls. I think he got his 3rd with like 13 minutes left in the second half, and he had to set for a good chunk there. So I kind of thought that it was going to be one of those games where John L. might take, 18, 20 shots, something like that. He only took 9 in this game. Boy, did he come up clutch in overtime, right at the free throw line, 4 of 4 from the charity stripe in overtime. He was the guy who was able to get the ball on the inbounds and the press breakers, take care of it, get fouled, go up there, calm, cool, and collected, knock down free throws. You know why? He's not sweating Arkansas, Texas in Bud Walton Arena in a regular season game, because this is a dude who's done it in the Final Four before. That experience really paid off in this moment because he was up for it. It wasn't too big for him. The lights weren't too bright for him. So good on Nelly. Give him an A for his performance in there. And I think better games to come for John L. Davis, but the way he executed for the Hogs down the stretch, they wouldn't be able to get over the hump without him. Trevin Brazile, I'm giving the A+ to. Challenged him in the pregame. We threw it out there, right? Like, hey, dude, you got to be the one who really steps up here and fills the void. It only makes sense. They start him at the 4. He comes out. He knocks down 2 threes right away to set the tone. He had the crazy putback dunk later in the first half. He had Billy Richmond threw him that lob, and he went up there and flushed it. Trevin finishes with 12 points and 8 rebounds and 2 assists and a steal in this game. He played 40 minutes. Trevin Brazile did. After playing, I think Andrew said, man, I feel like the dude's played 40 minutes total in the last couple of weeks. And that's true. And then he led the team in plus minus. Arkansas was 13 points better than Texas in the 40 minutes that he was on the floor, which means they were 8 points worse in the 5 minutes that he wasn't. So good on Trevin for stepping up and playing the way he did. He was aggressive. He was focused. He was locked in. And boy, did he need that one, because he's been going through it in terms of people talking greasy about him. And you can't blame people for feeling the way that they did here recently. Good on him for having the mental toughness and the fortitude to step up in big moments. We forget sometimes that Even though his role has changed this year, it's a really talented basketball player. He's unique with his athleticism, his ability to stretch the floor and knock down threes, his ability to alter shots. I thought he did a really good job again on Arthur Kaluma. And he's different than what you get from a Thiero at that position, but it doesn't mean he can't be effective. And so Arkansas needs him to be able to build confidence from that and continue to do exactly what he did in this game moving forward until hopefully, knock on wood, they're able to get Thiero back in there. And then you're better for it because you've got him dialed in as well. Super impressed, happy for Trevin. Good on him for stepping up and delivering the way that he did for the Razorbacks. Carter Knox, I thought he played hard. We'll give him a minus, I guess. It was interesting because, Coach Cal said that he got hurt in practice the day before. What is today? Wednesday. So Tuesday in practice, and they weren't 100% sure if he was going to be able to play. So he was listed as probable on the injury report. He winds up playing, and he gives you a team high 41 minutes. Only got up 6 shots. I would like to see him get up into double digits in the shooting categories. But hey, he was 3 of 6. He got to the free throw line 6 times, was 5 of 6 there. So he finishes with 12 points again, couple rebounds, couple assists. He only turned it over 1 time. It's crazy. 41 minutes out of Carter. And it looked like he wasn't quite 100% out there. I remember one play in particular. Now he did knock down a 3, but he kind of caught in the mid post area, around the elbow and just eyed up Trey Johnson, went right at him. Just man versus boy. And that's freshman on freshman crime, man. But he went in there and took it to him. Good to see. I thought Carter played well, engaged on the defensive end of the floor. And hey, Trey Johnson hit some tough shots on him. Trey Johnson hit some tough shots on everybody. I mean, my goodness, that dude was ridiculous. But another double-digit performance from Carter, and good for him. DJ Wagner, he'll be a guy we go A- with for sure, and maybe a little bit lower if we weren't in such a good mood. 16 points, which is really good. 5 of 14, so a little inefficient. He got off to a rough start. He's throwing the ball all over the place. Shots were off the mark. He did not look very dialed in, but he had some big moments in this game. Made some tough baskets around the rim down the stretch. Hit 2 threes where he made Texas pay for going under on ball screens. Both of them that he made were in those situations, which was very good on his part. Had 5 assists. You like it. The 5 turnovers is too many, and some of them were pretty careless in there. So again, like maybe it's a little bit more difficult for your point guard when you're adjusting to life without a do in there. I don't know, but needs to get those down, obviously. And then, hey, it was 4 or 6 on the free throw line. The 2 they missed were big. Had the opportunity to put Arkansas in the lead there at the end of regulation, split them. And so then you go to overtime, and then he had another situation where he's, missed a free throw there in overtime as well. And those are big ones. And he's been a good free throw shooter for Arkansas. I think he was 79% or something coming into the game. But played hard, competed on the defensive end, did a lot of good things for Arkansas. But there were a few moments there with DJ where you kind of looked and go, all right, man, like, come on now, come on. But toughness and leadership and some of those things that don't show up in the box score, he certainly brought to the table, I thought, at least. Big Z, hope that back's okay, big fella. Maybe it's because you've been carrying the team for so long now. I'm going to give Z an A. I thought he played tremendous. And, 26 minutes this game, he looked like he's having some back spasms or something. Not uncommon this time of year. Like we said, just make him live in the ice bath for the next couple days and get him good and stretched out. A lot of times if you're having back spasms, it's because your hamstrings are real tight, which would make sense for him at this point. So a lot of stretching, a lot of treatment, and get him as limber as possible before this game on Saturday. But 18 points. He led the team. Was 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6. So he knocked down 3 3-pointers, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. He had 7 rebounds. So 1 off of Trevin Brazil for the team high there. A couple assists. He did have 3 turnovers. Some of it was weird, where it was like mouse in the house situations that, like they tried to throw a lob to him. Maybe he shouldn't have got the turnover for it. Maybe it should have been DJ. I don't know. But, all 3 of his threes that he hit, I thought came at just very, very clutch times, and they were dumping it inside to him, back to basket, 1-on-1 in overtime. And he was getting buckets on those dudes. So good on him for that. How many blocks did he wind up with? Let's see. Only 1. Okay. Only 1 block and 1 steal. But I thought he was pretty good in there, all things considered, on the defensive end of the floor. He picked up an early foul in the first half, an early foul in the second half, but he didn't allow that to multiply and get himself into any trouble there. So another solid, performance from Z. This is just kind of what you've come to expect from the big fella there. So an A, I think, for Big Z. Jonas Adu, I tell you what, he's got to get an A as well, right? For what he brought to the table. What do we say after Mizzou? He got 6 points, 5 rebounds. And we were like, listen, man, if you can bring that consistently for Arkansas, and be a good team defender in there, protect the rim a little bit, great. Like, we will take that at this point. Well, Jonas had 8 points in this game, and he had 4 rebounds, and he had one of the most impressive blocks I've seen this season, where Buddy tried to put him in the rim for Texas, and Jonas wasn't having it. He met him there at the rim. An incredible block dunk. It was one of the highlights of the game. And look, Arkansas dumped it in there to him. He had 3 baskets in this game, and they were all tough, guarded. I'm going to go jump hook over the shoulder and score it on you in the post. And they came at critical times. I love it that Arkansas is throwing it in there and letting him go to work a little bit. He's skilled. And now he's got a little bit more pep in his step, got some confidence going. He's moving around a little bit better. Let him flex his game a little bit. So I was impressed by that. I really was. I thought he played well again as a team defender in this game. It was tough at times because with the way they were switching, some of the stuff they were trying to do, he gets caught in switches, and, Trey Johnson kind of beats him to the corner, but he did a good job of contesting and altering some stuff around the rim on him too. So I got to give him credit for that. I thought in the first half, his ability to hard hedge those ball screens and blow some stuff up and kind of double and then recover without giving up a layup and stuff. I mean, he's moving well in there and is starting to play quite a bit better. Was impressed by him in this game. Billy Richmond, was kind of surprised he didn't play more than he did. Honestly, just 21 minutes in the game. He was the low minutes guy, but Arkansas was +9 with him on the floor. We'll go A- though for Billy. He had 6 points. He was 3-7 from the floor. Missed a couple bunnies in there, didn't he? Had some of those cool, coast to coast finishes. Had a really nice just pull up mid-range jumper. Soft touch on it. You'd love to see it. But boy, he missed a couple bunnies in there that I know he would like to have back there in the second half as Texas was starting to get back into it. He also had the pass of the game, right? Just an absolute seed of a lob from about 30 feet out to Brazil, who just went up and skied up above the backboard, it felt like, and threw that thing down. So that was good as well. Defensively, he just continues to compete and get after it there for you. But there you have it, folks, the report card. An A, absolute A+ for John Calipari in this game. The way that he was able to manage subs, the adjustments that he made with this team offensively, the press breakers, he was drawing up the out of timeout stuff that he was drawing up. The only thing I wish they would have done is maybe made some adjustments to that play that Texas just kept running for Trey Johnson. They didn't have an answer for, but at the end of the day, it would have been very easy when this game went to overtime, or even when Texas took the lead there briefly at the end of regulation, for them just kind of tuck their tail and be like, gas tank's on E, man. We tried, but they really rallied together and got the job done there. So good on Arkansas for that. A huge bubble win. You're not safe. You're not locked yet. You might just need one more, but you got just a little bit of breathing room, at least tonight. All right. Feels good, man. I'm out of here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. If you're not subscribed to Inside Arkansas, please do that. And if you haven't been jumping in on the Pod the Palace post-game shows, we have a blast in there. It's live reaction. We get to a bunch of comments. We break down the game and stuff. We have a lot of fun in there. Tune in for those. Tune in for our watch party that we're going to have for this South Carolina game. Turn on your TV, but hop on with us. And we watch along, break it down, get to chats, get to questions. And it's a good time to all get into one forum and hang out together. But it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pod the Palace. Hope everybody has a good day. Hope you got a little bit of sleep and a little bit of rest. Hang in there at work. Maybe an extra cup of coffee. Get yourself an energy drink. We'll see you guys tomorrow.